Hi everybody, this is Al again. This is a do-over because apparently my microphone died in the first video halfway through and I never noticed. My apologies if suddenly the link went away. This is a resubmit because of that. What we're talking about today are the outputs, this section here, of MaryBlyt. What are these columns all about? What are they about? What is this brightly colored dashboard trying to tell me, and how does it relate to what's going on over here? So first of all, I just want to talk about these, and I'm not going to belabor it, but it's in the manual. Um, I'm going to ask you to look at pages 34 and 35 in the manual. And the reason I do that is it keeps the videos a lot shorter. This is just meant to make you comfortable as a survey and to motivate you to look at the manual. Okay, first and foremost, we're looking up here now, and we're saying average temp. I want to tell you that the average temp really is the median temp. It's the temperature between the high and the low. That's important, but it's the median temp. The next thing we have over here is the EIP. EIP stands for Epiphytic Infection Point. Get that right? Potential. Epiphytic potential. It's a scorecard of the infection pressure. In the manual, it goes into more detail. We're going to skip over this little puzzle here right now, and we're going to go look at, we have blossom blight symptom predictions. This is when you would start to see evidence of blossom blight. The infection's already occurred, but you would start to see evidence of blossom blight infection prediction. Next one is canker blight symptom prediction. Cankers are your source of inoculum in the orchard. They're one of your sources, and it means it's been warm enough for those cankers to start reproducing and give off bacteria as a source of inoculum to get to the petals. Okay, this is why your winter pruning and looking and culling, getting out those cankers is so important. Shoot blight prediction. Do you have conditions for shoot blight? Pretty straightforward. Trauma blight. If you had a trauma event earlier, in this case I had frosts, all right, this is when you would start to see pressure and you might see symptoms of trauma blight coming up, all right. Pretty straightforward. The numbers that are in those columns, especially ones that have little letters behind them, that's in the manual. This is remarkably, it's really not to my satisfaction clarified in the manual. And this is where the tire hits the pavement. This is your dashboard. This is what's telling you, heads up, this is what's going on. So let's take a look at each of those letters and say, what do they mean? Well, first of all, it's summarizing, I have to sneak a peek here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different critical elements that together all combine to say you have an infection period right now. Okay, you're combining all of those. Whether it's a blossom infection, a shoot blight infection, a trauma blight infection, but it's combining all of those elements to give you a level of severity. The color gets your attention, but each of those blocks tells you what's going on. If there's a plus symbol in there, that means those conditions have been met. All right. If you look at the green ones, few, if any, are being met. Certainly, if the blossoms are open but none of the other conditions are met, you're in the green. You have low infection pressure. If you get more of them building up and the level of them, you're going to get in the medium. More of them again, high infection pressure, and red means you are in an infection period. Okay. So let's just go through. First of all, the plus is based on what you keyed in for your blossom stage over here. If the blossoms are open, you will have a plus symbol in there, and all it's doing is reflecting what you told it. Petals are open, plus. Easy peasy. W is, and I'll make sure I get this right, W is that you've had a wetting period. I'm reading notes here. You've had a wetting period, and rain, dew, whatever, but you have the carrier for transmitting the inoculum into the blossom or into an open wound. Those conditions have been met. T is for, H is for degree hours. I skipped H, my apologies. Has it been warm enough, long enough to create enough bacteria to create an infection? You have a population of bacteria, you got enough, all right? T is that your average, or should I say your median daily temperature has been 60 or above long enough. It's warm enough to support an infection. Those bacteria will reproduce, okay? So I got, and R is the risk column, all right? And that's the letter of the alphabet that you see in there going from low, medium, high, infection, I. Okay. This is what you're glancing at. Now, one of the things you can do in the tool is if you were to say, wow, oh, by the way, this is my data from last year, and I've learned things since then. What I've really learned is I need to use prediction mode. I need to be using prediction mode, and so do you, because these periods here of infection could have been prevented had I cover sprays earlier. Now, realistically, I noted that I recorded wind, and that probably prevented me from putting a spray on until here. I think what I'm seeing now is, if I have pink or anything like that, I need to do the best I can. But certain products, unless the blossom's open, they're not going to do me any good to apply them. So it looks like I did the best I could when I could, but might not have been good enough. Things were starting here because I had Canker Blight was ramping up, and I had a combination of temperatures and moisture, and I had a lot of moisture last spring that brought my Epiphytic stage up. But in hindsight, should have put on a cover, even a basic copper, and then come in behind it. I'm not going to go through the exercise right now. I encourage you, though, to do prediction mode as you get weather forecasts. If you see warming periods or wetting periods, use prediction mode, plug it in, and see what it tells you. And then try to mitigate that through properly timed sprays. Yeah, that's it in a nutshell. I'm going to try and edit this and put in some close shots, and there's information down below on my advisor was on this, and after I Googled and I called, he explained to me what the dashboard signifies. So, okay, thank you. And he has a great blog. If you're in Pennsylvania or Virginia, certainly in Virginia, follow his blog. Even if out of zone, you're going to learn a lot from him. And he puts it out there. He does a great job in terms of extension education, what he shares. So, get ahead of fire blight. Please use MaryBlyt. And